Hi teens, I'm Miss Abby, a teen services librarian with the Tammany Parish Library. And today we're going to be making a craft out of our arts and crafts tote for January. In the January's tote you had two crafts. It was a dream catcher and a magnetic bookmark. So the bookmarks will end up looking like this, and they have a magnet in between them. And they fit about 5 pages between them and still work perfectly fine. And you'll never have to worry about your bookmark falling out or losing your spot, which I think is pretty neat. So if you are not familiar with our Arts and Crafts Tote, that is a free subscription service that we have for teens 12 to 18 years of age that you can register for online. You register on the 15th through the 30th of 1 month for the following month's tote. So if you register through the 15th to the 30th of January, you would pick up your tote between the 15th and 30th of February. And each tote will have 2 crafts for you to do that you can find videos for on our website like this one, and some swag, a snack, some cool things like drawing and writing prompts for you to do and enjoy. And you can share all of these activities or crafts, your final products, with us at teens@stpl.us. If you are interested in the Arts and Crafts Tote or our book tote, which is another free subscription service we have for teens, all you have to do is go to our website, sttamanylibrary.org, and go to our teen page to register for those 2 subscriptions. If you did not sign up for January Arts and Crafts Tote, don't worry, you can still do this craft. I'm going to go over the materials list. You may need a few more things than those who got the bag, because you'll have to make our pre-made shapes, which are just rectangles. So it's really easy to do. So materials needed, you are going to need some cardstock or a denser paper, some scrapbook paper. I also included in your tote bags some old book pages, which I think are kind of neat, some Mod Podge, magnets. You need 2 per bookmark, stuck together a little bit, and these have an adhesive back, which is very helpful, but you can just use some glue to glue them on if you don't have those. And then in your bag I included a small paintbrush if you'd like, but also included Q-tips, which I think are easier and of course are disposable, so throwing them away is not a big deal. If you did not receive this bag, obviously you do not have pre-cut cardstock or scrapbook pages. These rectangles are 4 inches long by 2 inches wide. You could do a more oval type one if you want, as long as it is wide enough to fit the magnet you have. And to make these templates, you could absolutely print a rectangle online and trace it, or you can just measure out the 2 by 4 or whatever shape you'd like. And to start, we're going to get a piece of our cardstock and a piece of our scrapbook paper. You're going to choose which side you want to put the glue on. So this side kind of has some rough edges from the way that I made these templates. So I'm going to use this side with the rough edges to be the inside. And of course I want my blank side to be the inside over here. So I'm going to start with my Mod Podge. It's been in my container for a little bit, just like yours has been because of the shipping. So you're going to want to stir it up just a little bit before you get started. And you're going to apply a nice layer to it. You don't want it to be too thick, but you want it to be able to stick. And I like to start by doing about half of my cardstock, going down widthways, and then applying and lining up my scrapbook paper. And this may take a second to get lined up. And I like doing it this way because the Mod Podge really dries up kind of quickly and gets really hard to move the scrapbook paper. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up and have that side, flatten it down, get some of this extra glue out. And then I will do my other side. And if you're working with a darker color like the black, specifically with the paper from the book, you'll see it start to turn a little black from the glue. Don't worry, you can use the other side. Obviously, dragging the black a little bit on the black cardstock is not going to matter in the end. She won't be able to see it. Okay. Put that to the side, and then I'm going to press down nice and firm and get some of this extra glue out. As you can see, I got a little on my finger and smeared it on top. Don't worry about that. You're going to put Mod Podge on the top anyway, so it's not going to matter. And so then you're going to want this to dry a minute. I already have one that has been dried where I've glued it together. So I'm just going to continue. I'm going to use the other side of the Q-tip because I don't want to drag any of this black, I don't know if you can see it or not, onto the top part of my bookmark where people will be able to see. And I'm just going to do a nice coat and try to keep this as even as possible because the Mod Podge will dry clear, but there may be striation marks from how you applied it. And you can see I'm making kind of a mess here. I like to work with something underneath my project, so if you don't have construction paper like I do, you can absolutely use something from the kitchen like a paper plate or wax paper. If you have wax paper, that would be a great idea because if any of the Mod Podge got off on the side, it'll be easier to pull your bookmark off of that. So as you can see, I'm smoothing it out. And then I also want to make sure I get my edges really well because I don't want it to accidentally pull apart. So I'm going to do a nice layer around my edges. So I want it to stay sealed. I want it to last as long as it's going to, as long as possible. You don't need a lot. You just want it nice and covered. I'm going to go back and smooth around the edges where I put it on the top. Right? And you're going to let that dry thoroughly before you continue. And if you'd like, you can absolutely put glue on the back side as well after the front dries. It's not necessary. I haven't done that on any of mine, but if you just want a cleaner finish, you can. So I'm going to set that one to the side with the other one that I started. And surprise, I have one that is dried with the glue on the top. And this one I actually really wanted to show you because it's one of the old book pages. Isn't that kind of neat? So now I'm going to fold it. And you can fold this a couple different ways. I did this, my other ones, directly in half. But if you'd like, you can fold however you want as long as the magnets will still fit. So I'm going to continue. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe fold it a third of the way, and I want the part that I'm going to see on top of my page to be the one where the words go right. So I'm going to do, let's say about that much. That looks about a third, right? So I'm going to nice and firmly press that down, and I've kept it nice and even, as you can see on the edges here. I use that as my line. And I'm just going to keep pinching and pressing until it's a nice firm line. So I have more on the back side than I do on the front, and that's okay because my magnets will still fit perfectly. So the magnets in your tote are adhesive, but if you did not have a tote and you are using some that do not have adhesion, or you want to keep making these and you need to go get your own supplies, it's okay if they don't have a magnetic back or adhesive back. They need to be magnetic. It's okay if they don't have an adhesive back. How I like to position mine is to stick them together like this and make sure they're lined up pretty evenly. They may shift a little, and that's okay. And I take the protective back off of one side. Sometimes takes a minute to do. They're on there pretty well. If not, if you don't have that, you just put a little bit of glue, a little dab of glue. And then I stick one down, I stick the pair down on that side and press it in pretty well. Make sure my magnets are re-lined up. And then I'm going to take the adhesive back off of the other one, and I'm going to make sure that they stay lined up. Ugh. It's taking me a second. All right, I have my adhesive back exposed on the second magnet, and I'm just going to gently close my flap over it, and I'm going to press down really well. Okay, and now I have a perfectly lined up magnetic bookmark. Okay. And like I said, this one's a little bit off on lengthwise, but I wanted a little less to show on one side, a little more to show on the other. So when I hang it on my page, I'm going to see this side with the words the correct way up. But you can absolutely do it in half or any other version that you'd like. Thank you for joining me in making magnetic bookmarks for our January Arts and Crafts tote. I had a lot of fun, and I hope that y'all did too. Like I said, these fit about 5 pages in between them and still magnetize pretty well. And there are a couple of different ways you can do this to make it unique in your own. Have a great day.